Many American citizens broadly support Trump's push for peace, as evidenced by recent polling data. Even CNN acknowledged the data on Monday.
Do Americans like the way that Trump's handling his job and compare it to how they felt about Joe Biden? So this is the net approval rating. You look at Joe Biden back in 2024, he was 22 points underwater. Holy cow. You look at Donald Trump, it's just a different planet entirely. I mean, the gulf between these two is wider than the Gulf of America or Mexico, depending on which side of the aisle you stand on. He's at +2. So look, at this particular point, Americans are giving Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt. He's doing considerably better than Joe Biden was doing on the handling of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. And so on this simple question, I think Americans are saying, okay, Donald Trump's doing all right on this.
And to his credit, Trump has been calling for the war to end since before his re-election in November, and his message hasn't changed one bit. Case in point, he reiterated this position on Monday, following the announcement about a major investment from Taiwan's semiconductor manufacturer, TSMC.
I want one thing to happen. I want all of those young people to stop being killed. They're being killed by the thousands every single week. Last week, 2,700 were killed. 2,700 young, in this case, just about all young boys from Ukraine and from Russia. And that's not young people from the United States, but it's on a human basis. I want to see it stop. The money is one thing, but the death. And they're losing thousands of soldiers a week. And that's not including the people that get killed every time a town goes down or a missile goes into a town. And I want to see it stop.
Here with reaction is Matt Gaetz, the host of the Matt Gaetz Show right here on OAN. Matt, thank you for being here.
Good to be here. Isn't it nice that we aren't going to have to go to war over semiconductor chips? Like I think we were told by the entire foreign policy establishment that we were going to have to go to war against China over Taiwan because of chips. And it seems the more America First move is to bring investment to our country, to Arizona, to become more resilient, self-sufficient, and stronger on the global stage. And you look at this Ukraine stuff, I hate to say I told you so, but when they were first working to impose sanctions against Belarus and Russia, when there were these first increases in aid that Congress was voting on, it was consistently Marjorie Taylor Greene, Congressman Thomas Massie, and myself voting against the U.S. involvement in these hostilities. And by the way, bravo to Europe. If Europe wants to pay hundreds of billions of dollars to continue this war, we will certainly root them on, but we are not going to fund the pensions of every Ukrainian government official while we still have challenges in our country from our own disasters and, frankly, the disaster of the Biden years that President Trump is working hard to clean up quickly.
Well, absolutely. And to your point, I don't understand why people are so surprised, because Trump's been saying he wants to end this for a long time. And now that he has the power to do so, that's what he's working towards. So I really don't understand why Democrats are so confused about this. But what do you think about that?
I think that Democrats wanted to keep us in this war forever because it allowed them to externalize the conflict that they're experiencing within their own political movement. Like, what is the Democratic Party today? Yeah. It's like some transsexuals, some beta males, and like some pit bull adopting lesbians. And that's, pretty much what you've got. And so they are trying to create these broad strokes of, imagery for freedom and the front lines of democracy. Pardon me, the front lines of democracy don't look like a place that canceled elections and is conscripting men off the streets. Yeah. If that's the front lines of democracy, count me out. And I think that's what Democrats are leaning into.
Well, I think that's some of the wartime propaganda, because even the New York Times, 5 minutes before the invasion, was saying Ukraine looks like one of the most corrupt countries on earth. And then 10 minutes later, it's this precious democracy that we are obligated to defend. And it's just so insulting.
Well, have we learned our lesson that if you take a bunch of U.S. cash and U.S. weapons and pour those things over an otherwise corrupt country, that you don't get like Britain in World War II on the other end of that gestation period, right? You get something that looks a lot more like Iran in control of Iraq, or the Taliban in control of Afghanistan, or some guy in a sweatsuit running around Ukraine enriching their friends at the expense of the American taxpayer. President Trump wants peace, and you think about the trajectory of this Zelensky visit. I mean, he showed up thinking he was getting a minerals deal, and instead he leaves with a pause on all military aid. So maybe next time wear a tie.
Yeah, exactly.